Facebook says I am live. Instagram says, what does Instagram say? Instagram says we are telling your followers that you have started a live video. So let's see. Let's see if they actually did it. I don't know. Let's make sure. We'll see if what Instagram says they did, they actually do. As y'all coming in, shout yourselves out in the comment section. I'm gonna pin my comment here, and we're gonna get into the conversation as usual. We're gonna do what we usually do. So as y'all coming in, shout yourselves out. Tell me where you located at. That's what I'm asking for. Tell me where you located as y'all are coming in. I'm live on Facebook. My Facebook page is, what is my Facebook page? Work on Your Game. Also, I'm live in my Facebook group, which is called Six Figures and Growing. And then on Instagram, I only got one Instagram. So my Instagram is just me, Dre Baldwin. As y'all coming in, shout yourselves out. We're going to get into this. We're going to get started in about 30 seconds. I'm going to give Instagram a chance to do what they said. They are telling people that I started a live video. So we're going to see. As y'all coming in again, just tell me your location where y'all checking in. I can see your names on here, even though everybody's name is not there. I know not everybody goes by their regular name on here. So we got Rob in here. X3 Rob, what's going on? Happy Sunday to you. Arvin checking in from Toronto. Shout out to Toronto. Shout out to Canada. We are officially international because we got somebody from outside the USA. If you're on Facebook, you can shout yourselves out too. I can see the comments on Facebook. For those who don't know me, my name is Dre Baldwin. Many know me as Dre all day. I'm a former 9-year pro athlete. My sport was basketball. That was a sport that I played. I created this whole framework. I've done 4 TED Talks, written 33 books. I see some of my books behind me here. If you don't have these books, you should buy all of them. I will sell you each one of them. And I created this whole framework, this whole brand, this whole business called Work on Your Game that is all about, I took the mindsets and the strategies that help athletes get to the top 1% in the sports world. And what I did is codify that, because there's a lot of athletes out there. What I did separates me from all the rest of them, because every athlete eventually stops playing. I codified what athletes need to get to the top 1% mindset and strategy wise. And now I teach that to business people, people like yourselves, to help you do 3 specific things. Listen to these 3 things. Number 1, perform at a higher level. That means you are giving more value to the people that you serve. Those are your customers and your clients. Those are people who give you money. Number 2, be more consistent. How can you give value, a high level value, over and over and over and over again? The reason why that matters is because if you give value consistently, that means people will give you money consistently. The same way that all of you right now, almost all of you got a phone, right? And you pay AT&T or T-Mobile or Verizon or Sprint or whoever, Boost Mobile, whoever you got your phone with, you pay them every month. Why? Because the service keeps working. You got to be consistent. When the service is working, you're willing to pay for that service, right? It's the same thing with your customers and clients. So the consistency of performance, same thing we need in sports. And number 3, well, what's the reason why we go to work? What's the reason why we do business? Is to make money, right? We're in a money making business. So these are the 3 things that I help people do. If you work with me, these are the 3 things we're going to be working on: is raising your level of performance, meaning giving more value to more people who can afford to give you the money that you want. Number 2, consistency of it. So you're giving people a consistent experience. That's the only reason they're going to keep paying you. Number 3, you want to make more money in your business. Usually people show up because they want to make more money, but we understand we have to go through the process. And here at Work on Your Game, our 3-step process is mindset, strategies, and systems. So today what we're going to talk about is how to get known and how to stay known. Now, where does this fit into what I was just talking about? This is really it's actually all 3. Everything I talk about, we go through all 3 of these: mindset, strategy, and system. I'm going to explain to you a high level, I'm going to give you a high level explanation of this and why it matters for all of you, who, especially those of you who are entrepreneurs who get to kind of write your own ticket. In other words, you create your own products and services. And you can set whatever price you want for anything that you sell. And you can just tell people this is the price, and if they're willing to pay it, you can make whatever amount of money that you want. Here's the reason why this matters. It's because the world that we live in today, we live in an attention and collaboration economy, meaning in order for you to make money, you have to get somebody's attention, especially if you are entrepreneurial. You have to get people's attention first in order for you to get their money. And one of the best ways to get attention these days is not for you to just try to do everything on your own, is to collaborate with other people. In other words, if you know somebody who already has a whole bunch of people watching them, they already got 1 million people's attention, and you don't have anybody's attention, wouldn't it be easier for you to get attention if you just found a way to stand next to that person or work with them in some way? And when I say stand next to them, I don't mean just stand there and do nothing, but collaborate with them, connect with them in some way, so that some of the people looking at them will also notice you. And if you do that, now you can start to get a little bit of attention for yourself, and you didn't even have to do all the work on your own. what's going on is that Nesha or Nisha. I'm guessing it's Nesha. I'll go Nisha. Nisha Wells, good morning to you. So this is like any of you ever saw the stories of like when Kim Kardashian first came out, when she first came out, how she first got out was she used to hang out with Paris Hilton, right? She used to be like Paris Hilton's stylist or personal shopper or something like that. Paris Hilton was the more famous person. And then Kim just started hanging out with Paris Hilton, and everybody was already looking at Paris Hilton. And then Kim was always there. So people were like, well, who's this other girl that's always hanging with Paris? They started to know, oh, her name is Kim. And she started getting on. So then she kind of built her audience off of standing next to somebody who already had an audience. So she was collaborating with Paris Hilton. And I don't know if Paris even knew that was a collaboration. And this is way before it was a normal thing to be doing. This is like early to mid 2000s. And it's the same thing that all of us need to be doing, even if you didn't do it on purpose. I don't know if Kim did that on purpose. Maybe she did. But here's the thing. We all need to be doing it on purpose. We need to be conscious and intentional about doing this these days, because the collaboration economy is the world that we are in. This is not a fad. It's not like something that comes and goes real quick and you can ignore it. This is a trend. This is a normal thing. Right now, I'm live. I'm broadcasting live on Facebook and on Instagram at the same time. I'm collaborating with both of these platforms. And if you follow my lives, you heard me speak about this. When I post something on social media, and when you post something on social media, you aren't gathering the whole audience. They already gathered. Instagram and Facebook already gathered all the people together into one place, which is the app. Right. So when you open up the app, so if I open up Instagram right now and I can see my notifications. So here's Instagram. They already gathered all the people. All the people are here. I didn't gather these people. They gathered the people. All I'm going to do is go, if I go to my profile on Instagram, you see right here, here's the content. I create the content. Instagram gathers the people. And anytime I make more content, Instagram will show my content to people. So now me and Instagram are working together because they got all the people. I got the content. Because if Instagram didn't have the people, I probably wouldn't put my content on here, because who's going to see it? Nobody. And if I wasn't creating content, then the Instagram wouldn't be Instagram. If all of us didn't create content, Instagram wouldn't be Instagram, because who needs it, right? There's no people there. Why would you want to put content somewhere that nobody's going to see it? So we are both helping each other. I put content there because I know there's people there, and Instagram is willing to show my stuff to people because they know that people will like it. So if my stuff is getting seen by more people and they like it and they engage with it and they comment or share it or save it or whatever they're doing with it, like it, Instagram knows. His connection there. All right. Instagram knows when Dre posts something that there's a certain segment of the population who likes that. So next time Dre posts something else, we're going to let more and more people see it. And eventually you get, usually they call those followers. You get more followers, you get more engagement, more attention, et cetera, et cetera. And then, then the next step is, what do you do with that attention? That's a whole different conversation. I got a whole framework on how to monetize attention. Any of you want to hear me talk about that, just let me know. At some point in the future, I'll probably do a live talking about it, how to monetize attention once you got people noticing you. So what we're going to talk about here today is, how do you get people to know you, and how do you keep them knowing you? Because just because somebody knows you doesn't mean they're going to keep knowing you. Right? Any of you, if you think about it, you're probably not thinking about them right now, but there's someone or something that you knew about, let's say 5 years ago. You were paying attention to everything they did and everything, whether it was a company, a person, everything they did, everything they said, everything they posted, you were watching it and paying attention. But then for whatever reason, that entity, person, organization, company lost your attention. Maybe you just didn't want that thing anymore. So if you used to play football, but you don't play football anymore, maybe you stopped paying attention to anything, so many football related people, or you used to be in a certain industry, so you paid attention to everything going on in that industry. But now that you're not in that industry anymore, you don't pay as much attention. Or maybe somebody just stopped posting something. You were following someone, an influencer, and you like their stuff, but they just stopped posting for whatever reason. They got lazy, they got bored, they changed their mind, and you stopped paying attention to them. So you completely forgot about them. So just because you're known, here's the point, doesn't mean you're going to stay known. So you got to get known and you got to stay known. How do you do these things? That's what we're going to talk about here today. And I'm going to give you 3 points. For those of you who are not familiar with my work, usually I break these down into points. So I'm going to give you, how many points I got here? I got 3 points I'm going to share with you about how to get known and stay known. All right, everybody got that? All right, that's the topic, getting known. Number one, you must have a system for outreach. So how I told y'all that we do mindset, strategy, systems over here at Work on Your Game. Here's the mindset, is that you have to understand that outreach is part of your job. This is something that you need to absolutely be doing. You need to be outreaching. That means you are going to people who you may want to work with or do some type of business with in some way, or people who, and doing business with somebody doesn't mean that y'all are partners necessarily. Doing business with somebody could be me sending an email to you and saying, hey, I got this product. I just want to remind you about this product, and here's where you can go to buy it. All right, that's working together, because I'm giving you something you want, which is the product. You give me something I want, which is the money, and we're working. That's a way of working together. So working together doesn't necessarily mean we're in a partnership. It can just mean I'm giving you something you want, you give me something that I want. When somebody sends me an email and says, Dre, I got this book that's coming out and I want the book. All right, I'll pay $30 for the book. You give me the book, I give you the $30, we both win. So outreach means you are consistently doing things to remind people or inform people of your existence and the existence of your offerings. Offerings are just the things that you have that somebody else could use in some way. Whether that be you have some knowledge that they want, whether you got a product or service that they want, you got a coaching program, you got a mastermind, you got an event coming up, whatever it is that you're offering, you need a system for continually reminding people that you have that thing. Everybody got that? And a system means something that works the same way over and over and over again. So outreach is not something that you just do when you get excited or you're thinking about it one day, or, oh yeah, I heard Dre talk about that on his live, so now I'm gonna go do it. You do it today, and then the next 10 days you do absolutely nothing. That's not a system. Everybody with me here? Is a system when you're doing it over and over again and you're doing it consistently, because of what I told you, performance, consistency, and money are those are the three things that we help people get. So the consistency comes from having a system. So notice that the word system is almost right in the middle of consistency. I don't think they are roots of each other, but they just sound alike, right? Consistency, system. A system allows for consistency. So since we're in a collaboration era and our whole economy is based on collaborations, you need a system for people knowing who you are. If they didn't know you yesterday, they need to know who you are today. All right. And so this is the good news, is that you don't have to create this attention from scratch. You go find someone who already has attention, figure out how to work with them, and boom, now some of that attention rubs off on you. So to give you an example, just last week, if you are following my stories on IG, you see oftentimes when I'm doing interviews and I go on people's podcasts often. I do several podcast interviews probably every week. The last one that I was on this week was Joey Penn's on Friday. And his show was about discipline. It was called Discipline Conversations with Joey Penn's. So I was on Joe's podcast, and he has an audience of people. And he has an audience. Some people in his audience might know who I am. Maybe a few of them do. But there's a bunch of people in his audience that he gathered that never heard of me before. But when I appear on his podcast, now some of those people in that audience are going to see me and say, oh, I never heard of Dre before, but he sounds interesting. You know what? I'm going to follow Dre and I'm going to see what he's talking about. And now some of Joey's audience members are now going to add me to the list of shows that they listen to. So they're still in his audience. So I didn't steal his audience, because they're still his. They're still in his audience, but they also added me to the list of shows or people that they listen to. You get what I'm saying? So that's a collaboration. So you want to go find these people who already have the people that you want and figure out a way, how can you work with that person? How can you work together with that individual? Now, you can work with them in a collaborative way, meaning they know that they're helping you and that you're helping them. You can work with them in other ways where you can figure out how to work kind of around them, even if they don't know you. So an example of that would be, let's say I wanted Tony Robbins, right? So Tony Robbins is a really famous, probably the most famous motivational speaker out there. He probably doesn't call himself that, but many people look at him like that. So let's say I wanted some people from Tony Robbins' audience to know about me. What's one thing that I could do? If I can't get in touch with Tony himself, let's say I can't get Tony to bring me on his podcast. Let's say I reached out to him, let me be on your podcast, Tony, and they don't respond, or they just say, no, we're not interested. All right, fine. Here's what I can do. I can go to Google and I can do a Google search advertisement. Anytime somebody Googles Tony Robbins, I want my website to come up in the search. Now I got to pay for that, but it might be worth it, because anybody who's looking for Tony Robbins, what are they looking for? They're probably looking for some type of personal transformation, mindset, or whatever Tony's teaching, right? So if I'm teaching something similar, I can kind of shave some of his audience members off the top and get them to come look at my website or look at my product and look at my program. It doesn't mean they're all going to buy, but it's a way that I can kind of get some attention to my stuff based on something that people are already intentional in looking at. You get what I'm saying here? So this is another thing that you can do, and this can be part of your system. I'm just throwing ideas out here. You don't have to do all this stuff, but these are different ways you can do this to where you are collaborating with someone else who's already done the work to gather the audience. You don't have to do all this by yourself. So I'll give you another example. So any of you pause connections. All right, we got unpause connection. So any of you follows basketball, you may have heard basketball players talk about this. I know 3 years ago when they had the like when COVID was out and the players were not going to play in the bubble, and then there was all the social stuff going on. players were talking about, well, why don't the NBA players, and you've heard many people talk about this, people who follow, like, people talk about the economy and economics. They say, why don't NBA players just start their own basketball league, right? Why don't they just start their own league? They all got money. They just put all their money together. They can start their own basketball league. Why does that never happen? Well, here's one of the reasons why it doesn't happen. One of the reasons why it doesn't happen is because the reason why the NBA is worth the money that it's worth, and I'm just using them as an example, is because they have already gathered a diehard audience. They've gathered an audience of people. You know, the reason why the NBA is worth what it's worth and the players can get paid what they get paid is because the audience. Is not because the basketball is so amazing. Yes, the basketball being amazing leads to the audience, but the audience is the reason why it's worth what it's worth, because the TV contracts, the live gate receipts, the attention they get on the internet, all of those are based on business relationships that the NBA has cultivated over 75 years of building relationships. That's why it's worth what it's worth. So if you're going to go start your own league outside of the NBA, they got to do all that legwork to build the relationships. It's much more than just getting on the court and throwing a basketball around. That's not worth that much money. All right, how many of you play basketball at Lifetime Fitness or LA Fitness or some local basketball court? You play pickup all day on the weekends. All right, many of you play a whole lot of basketball. Ain't a whole bunch of money getting paid to do it, right? It's not the basketball itself that makes the money. Yes, these guys are great players, but it's the business relationship, it's the connections, it's the foundation of the relationships that are worth money. That's what makes the business the business. It's the same thing for your economy and your business. I'm, again, using that as an example to help you all understand. There's a system to how the NBA runs the thing that they do. That's why they're all talking about this next TV contracts to come up. You got Apple's going to try to get in the game. Amazon's going to try to get in the game. And they're all going to they're all going to back up the money truck to try to give it to the NBA. Why? Why do they want to pay so much money to broadcast NBA games? Because people like you and I will go watch those games on those platforms, and they will make more money on the back end than they will spend on the front end. So, for example, the next TV deal for the NBA, let's just throw out a basic understanding here for those of you who don't know how this works. Amazon and Apple, for example, those are two companies everybody's heard of, right? Right now, they don't broadcast NBA games. All the NBA games right now is on ESPN, TNT, and ABC, right? Those three networks. Amazon and Apple are trying to get in the game. So they're going to offer money to try to outbid one of those platforms to try to get NBA games. So let's just say, hypothetically, I'm not an insider, so don't report this as news. Let's say Apple offers $5 billion to the NBA. So they say over the next 10 years, we will pay the NBA $5 billion, us as Apple, for the right to show basketball games on Apple's platforms. And let's say the NBA agrees to that. So now Apple has NBA games. They pay $5 billion with a B. $5 billion to show basketball games. That's a lot of money to spend to show games on TV. Why would Apple spend that much money to show games on TV? Because all the audience, all the eyeballs that they're going to get from paying $5 billion, they're going to make more than $5 billion on the back end in that deal. So that's why they're willing to spend $5 billion. $5 billion is just an investment. That's not a cost. It's an investment. If they spend $5, they're going to make 10. So if you had $5 billion and you knew investing $5 billion would make you 10 billion, would you spend $5 billion? Of course you would. The whole point is Apple would have a system. If they are going to make a $5 billion bid, and they probably will, if they make a $5 billion bid in order to get NBA games on TV, they already have a idea and a plan in place. How are we going to make back our $5 billion? How are we going to get all these people to become bigger customers of Apple, even if they don't make the money up front? Like, all right, every time at Apple we go to commercial, what are we going to show you? Commercial for the AirPods, for the MacBook Pro, for the iPad Pro, for the Apple Watch, for the iPhone, for Apple TV, everything else that you can buy that we're going to make. Apple's going to make all their money back. The whole point is there's a system. All right, that's the point that I'm making here. It's a system. You have to have a system for continually reaching out to new customers and getting seen. Apple will put $5 billion up to show NBA games because all the people that will watch the games, now they can advertise Apple products to them at the same time that they're watching basketball games. That is a great investment for Apple. It'd be a great investment for Amazon. It's a great investment for TNT, ESPN, ABC. That's why they pay so much money right now. And why the money just keeps going up, because people keep spending money. That's the whole point. That's why we have an economy. It's because people spend money. If people don't spend money, we have no economy. When the money's getting spent, there's always money to be made. Everybody follow what I'm saying here? All right. That's a kind of a mindset piece and a strategy piece, all leading to a system. So you see, I gave you all three in the first point. Point number two. Topic here today is we are talking how to get known and stay known in your marketplace. Number two, You are in the marketing business. Everybody catch that? You are in the marketing business. I don't care what you sell. I don't care what you do for a living. I don't care if you are a school teacher. I don't care if you're the janitor at the school. I don't care if you write books, if you're a coach, if you're a rapper, if you're I don't know what else you could do. You got an OnlyFans, whatever. You are in the marketing business. Your business is marketing the thing that you do. That's the business that you're in. Because the only way you can make money from it is by letting more people know about it and getting them to give you money for it. That's your job, is to market, 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 market. So you always need to be marketing your stuff. You need to be telling people. If you have books, your job is to continually tell people that you have books and where they can go to buy it and how much they got to pay to get it. If you're a coach, you need to be letting people know, your ideal people know, hey, I'm a coach and I can help you solve this problem, whatever it is. If you got an OnlyFans, you need to be letting people know continually, I got an OnlyFans. Here's where you need to go to sign up and pay every month $10 to get these pictures. Whatever it's going to be, you need to be continually letting people know that you have that thing. That is the business that you are in. All right. If you want to make more money, what you need to get better at is not doing the thing. You need to get better at the marketing and selling of the thing. That's the business. Okay. In business, there are 3 ways to market yourself. You can advertise. That means you spend money to get attention. Like the example I just gave you, Apple paying for NBA games will be a form of advertising. You can collaborate. That's working with other people who already have an audience and using their audience to build your audience. That's another thing that Apple will be doing. They pay $5 billion to get NBA games on TV or any amount of money. And the third way is content. This is something that many individual people do. I put out content. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, I'm live on both of them right now. You see that I put out content all the time. I put out content every single day. I put out status updates. I put out little memes. I put out reels. Why am I doing that? I'm doing this live right now. This is content. Why am I doing this? I put out the content because this is a way that some of you who might not know about me can get to know about me. Some of you never heard of me before. You're watching this live right now. Some of you heard of me a lot, but you never really heard me talk on a live. Some of you heard me talk on a live before. You liked it, so you're watching me talk on this live. Maybe it's just a topic that got your attention. But content is a way of getting people's attention. And we are in an attention economy. If you cannot draw attention, you cannot do business. And understand, drawing attention, you got 3 ways. I just told you. Advertising, you spend money to get attention. Collaboration, you use relationships to get attention. And content, you use your own intellectual property to get attention. 1, 2, 3. Those are different ways to get attention. If you are not doing these, you are killing your business. Every day your business is dying if you're not marketing. Everybody heard what I just said? If you are not marketing, your business is dying, guaranteed. This is why across the street from me, and it's a prime real estate, there's a billboard. This billboard is probably about, how big is that billboard? It's probably about 300 feet wide, something like that. It's hard for me to gauge these sizes. But the billboard across the street from me, from my house, is about let's say about 300 feet, something like that. It's pretty big. All right, and this is prime real estate. A lot of eyeballs go past this billboard every single day. I would guess the cost to have this billboard space, the cost to put your ad on that to own that billboard, not own it, but to rent it, is probably $10,000 a month. It might be more than that. It might be 20. But Apple has had that billboard space for years because I've gone past this place, a bunch of times. Apple's had that billboard space. And the only thing what does Apple advertise? I told you Apple had an advertisement. What are they advertising? They only got basically 3 products: a phone, a computer, and a laptop. That's it. I mean, a phone, a computer, and what's the other thing? You can either say the watch or the AirPods. They advertise AirPods every once in a while. Maybe the watch. Most of the time is the phone. And then sometimes it's the computer. Mostly is the phone. Apple makes like 90% of their money from the phones. All that other stuff is a distraction. The whole thing, the big thing is the phone. That's the business for Apple. And all they do every month, they just change out the billboard from an ad about the phone to a different ad about the phone. Right now, they got an ad up about the phone. So after I get done with this live, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to put on my story. I'm going to show you what the billboard looks like. So y'all can see. Right now, they're advertising like that. What's it? The iPhone 14? Is that the new one? Yeah, so right now, they're advertising the iPhone 14. Then they just change it and they give you a different ad about the iPhone 14. Then when the new one comes out, it'll be an ad about the iPhone 15. And then 20 years from now, it's going to be the iPhone 50, whatever it is. They're just going to keep advertising the phone because that's where they make most of their money. Here's the question, though. This is what I want to ask y'all. And if you follow my lives, you might have heard me ask this question before. And if you keep following, I'm going to ask this question again in the future. Why does Apple, all right, most of you who are watching me right now, you have an iPhone, right? Why does Apple spend money to advertise a phone if everybody already has it? Why is Apple spending thousands of dollars a month to advertise a product that everybody already has? This is not a rhetorical question. Why is it? Why are they doing it? And down the street, like you can see this from where I live too. Some people got Android. Down the street, like 3 blocks from here, I can see this from my balcony. Google has ads. Now, how many of you use Google every single day? If you need to look up something, you look on Google. Android, you got Android, you have Google operating system on your phone. If you look something up, most people use Google to look things up. Just got a pause connection. Most people on their computers use Google Chrome, the browser, right? And you might use, how many you use Gmail for your email? How many you use Google Docs or Google Sheets, all kinds of Google products? Google got so many products you don't even remember that they're Google most of the time. Why would they spend all that money? And they spend a lot of money as well advertising things. Why do they do this? And someone said to stay on top. Well, maybe. They might not even be on top though. And the thing that they're advertising, the reason that they advertise is because they need to stay top of mind. That's the point. Not on top necessarily of the industry, because not everybody can be on top of the industry, right? There might be 10 competitors in the industry, but they all advertise. The reason that you advertise is so that you stay top of mind, so that when people are ready to spend money, they think about you. And the whole point is Google is probably the biggest when it comes to web, the internet. Google is like the biggest company. When it comes to electronic devices like phones, Apple is the biggest company. But they both spend a whole bunch of money every single day staying in front of you, even though they already have the most customers. They already make the most money, but they keep spending money. So here's why this matters to every individual who's listening to me. Let's say you don't have the marketing budget that Google or Apple has. Both of these companies spend millions of dollars a day advertising. Millions of dollars a day advertising. And 30th Baby says stay relevant. Well, yes, it stayed relevant, but I don't know, that term relevant is kind of fluid. I mean, people throw that term around in a lot of different ways. So I want to make it more simple. Here's the strategy behind it, and the mindset behind why they spend so much money advertising is because they understand what I just explained to you all, is that you have to stay in front of your audience no matter how many customers you already have. So most of us don't have as many customers as Google or Apple, but are you advertising as relentlessly as they are? If you're not, then that should make you curious. That should make you think. How does this company, who makes $1 billion, these companies make millions of dollars a day in sales. If you're not making millions of dollars a day in sales, how are they out advertising you? How are they taking more time to market and advertise than you are? You should think about that. And Apple, Google, Nike, Amazon, the NBA, all these big companies, guess what they have in their companies? They have entire departments of people whose their only job is to figure out more ways to get us seen, known, and heard by more people. That's their only job. They call that the marketing department. All right, Apple has a marketing department. All those people do is figure out ways to get Apple seen, heard, and known by more people, or to remind people like me and you who already have the phone, hey, next time you buy a phone, you better buy it from us. You might go 2 years before you buy another phone. I bought the iPhone. I got the iPhone 13. I got this phone at the end of 2021. So the next phone I get will probably be at the end of this year. Like when the next iPhone, like the iPhone 15, that'll probably be the next phone I get. I'm probably not going to get the 14. I get the next one that comes out because this one is still doing great. I'll probably get the iPhone 15, right? But Apple still is okay with spending a whole bunch of money to market to me about every iPhone that they have, even though it might be 2 full years between me purchasing any phone from Apple. You understand how much money they invest in getting my attention, knowing that I'm only going to buy something every 2 years? You understand the math on that? Like they have to know them. They got to have a system for that. They got to have a strategy for doing that. That's not just something you randomly throw money at. Here's the point. Again, you might not be building a company as big as Apple, or maybe you don't even want to. You need to be looking at your own economy, your own business, and asking yourself, what am I doing to continually market to the people who might be willing to buy my stuff so that when they are ready to buy my stuff, I'm the first person that they think about and they don't forget that I exist. Because here's the worst thing that could happen to you in business is you have a product or service that could help somebody, but because you're not continually marketing that product, when they're finally ready to buy it, They don't think about you because you haven't been telling them about your product. You stopped talking to them because you figured, oh, well, it's been a year, they didn't buy anything. So, I'm going to stop marketing to them. I'm going to stop marketing to that person. Then 3 months after you stop marketing to them, they're ready to buy. But because they forgot about you, because you stopped marketing to them, they go spend their money with somebody else. That's what you don't want. And guess what? Guess who that never happens to? That never happens to Google. That never happens to Nike. It never happens to Amazon. It never happens to Apple. Why? Because they continually spend money, time, attention, energy, and focus on staying in front of you, even if you ain't buying nothing. Even if you buy nothing from them, they keep marketing to you. If you get one thing from from everything I'm going to say in this live, get that I just said. They keep marketing to you even if you're buying nothing. So any of you, like, you see me doing these lives. I do lives all the time. I put content up all the time. I put content on Instagram, Facebook. I can't even remember where I put content up. I put content on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I'm just looking at these apps so I can remember. Facebook, LinkedIn. Where else I put content? TikTok. I didn't always do TikTok, but I started putting my little reels on TikTok. I put content on all these platforms every single day. Every platform I just said, I put content on every single one of them every day. If you're on my email list, I send out emails. Anybody here on my email list? If anybody here is on my email list, tell me how many times a week do you get an email from me? I don't know if anybody who's watching me right now, or if when I put this up on YouTube or something like that, anybody who's on my email list, put in the comments, how many times a week do you get an email from me? And I don't know if anybody here is on my email list, but here's the point. Here's what I want y'all to understand. That even if nobody's responding, nobody's reacting, nobody's liking or commenting, and I'm sending out emails about my products or services or whatever, and nobody's buying anything, the principle is you keep marketing. That's the principle. You keep marketing. If you know that you have a product or service that works, you know it works. You know it will help somebody. You know it's good for them. They just haven't responded to it yet. You keep marketing. Apple knows that the iPhone is a great device. So even when people aren't buying, they keep marketing. They just figure out a different way to market, different audience to market to, different way to talk about it. They just come up with different ways to talk about the same product. Apple's been marketing the same product for 15 years. One product, the phone. Most of their money comes from the phone. Now, a bunch of you, and there's another principle you could take from a company. I'm just using Apple as an example, but we could give a converse example, be like Nike. Apple has one product that makes the majority of their money, which is that phone. Now, look at a company like Nike. Nike has like 1,000 products, right? And they always cycle products out. Like, you see a product on Nike's website today, 6 months from now, you will not be able to find that product. They just took it off. You can't buy it anymore. It's gone. All right. Jay Melly says every day. Like, I send emails out. You on my email list, you get an email from me at least 5 days a week. I send emails out all the time. And those are not free. When I send emails out, those marketing emails, it's not free to send those emails. You got to pay. You pay to send all those emails. When I send text messages, my text community, how often do you get text from me? Anybody who's on my text list? At least once a day. Those are not free. You pay money to do that. But the reason I'm willing to pay money to do that is because when it turns over, I make more than I spend. You get what I'm saying? So this is the whole thing. As I said, great mess about the school system being garbage. I think you're talking about my email list. Everybody's at a different point in the email list, so everybody doesn't get the same email at the same time. So the whole point is you are continually marketing. You need to be continually staying in front of people so that when they are ready to do something, you are the first person that they think about. If they don't think about you first and they're looking to buy a thing that you offer, you made a mistake. That's something that you didn't do right as a business owner, as a marketer. So you got to stay in front of people. Remember that your business is marketing. That's the business. The business is not your product or service. All right. So do not get caught up in thinking that you're in the business of whatever you do for a living. You're a coach, you're a speaker, you're an author, you're a model, you're a basketball influencer. Those are not the things that you do. What you do is market that thing, because that's when you make money. You don't make the money just by doing the thing. You make the money by marketing it. All right. So number 3, we are talking here today about how to get known and stay known in the marketplace. Number 3, make yourself noteworthy. This is how you get remembered. Make yourself noteworthy. What this means is you need to be sharing things and showing people things and saying things that make people notice you and say, damn, what this person is talking about, it resonates with me. You want your message to resonate with the right person. So like Swiftly 44, Aswan said right here, He loved the message that I put out this morning, or that he saw this morning. Everybody doesn't get the same message on the same day, but he probably saw something probably from my email list where I talked about the school system and I was trashing it, which I have multiple times. The whole point is you want your message to resonate with the right people. So that message resonate with him, but somebody else might see that message and not like it, and they might unsubscribe because they're like, I don't like that he said that. Good. I want them to unsubscribe because they're not my customer. Oh, it was a podcast. So it was on the podcast. So here's the thing. See, I put out so much material, I forget that I put it out everywhere. So I put out a podcast episode every day. And I'm not telling y'all that y'all have to do this. You don't have to put out content every single day if you don't want to. But if you can, I would. So I did a 2-part series, right? Episodes 24, 64, and 24, 65 on my podcast. The garbage that you have to unlearn from school. So I got a 2-part series where I talked about that. The whole point is that's going to resonate with a certain segment of the population. And there are certain people, let's say somebody's a school teacher, they might hear that and be offended and be like, well, fuck Dre. I don't like that he said that. I don't like his attitude. And they're going to leave and they'll never listen to me again. That's completely fine. Why? Because they're not going to buy anything from me anyway. All right. But I want the people who are interested in that and they hear it and they're like, damn, I'm glad somebody said that. Those are my people. All right. Those are people that I want to reach. But here's the thing. If I just had that idea in my head and I didn't say it out loud, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know that I think that. And then they wouldn't know that we are connected on that level. And they might go, again, when they're ready to go buy something, they might buy it from somebody else because they're not thinking about me. But the fact that I said that, the people who that resonated with, they're like, yeah, this guy's saying, he took the words right out of my head. All right, I was thinking the same thing and he said it. I'm glad he said that. All right, they're going to connect with you. All right, this is how politicians win elections. They go out and say the things that their base wants to hear. So how did Obama win the election twice? Because he said things that his fans wanted to hear. Who's the president now? How did Biden win? He said things that his fans wanted to hear. How did Trump win? He said things that his fans wanted to hear. Even the people who lose. They just didn't get as many people to agree with them, but they got some. What's the guy that kept losing? Bernie Sanders. All right, he said things that his audience wanted to hear. He just didn't have a big enough audience. Hillary Clinton, same thing. Said things that her fans wanted to hear. Bill Clinton, he won twice. He said things that his audience wanted to hear. So this is the same thing that everybody does in marketing. Apple does this. Google does this. Nike does it. Amazon does it. Your favorite musician, they do it. Your favorite companies that you spend money with, they all do this. Local businesses, big businesses, they all do the same thing. Is you got to stay noteworthy. Noteworthy means what are you sharing or saying or promoting or representing that when people see it, it makes them say, this person is like me. Me and this person are on the same page mentally. We're on the same page emotionally. We think the same way. I like how this person is talking. I like what they're about. That's what you need to be putting out so that your audience is like, yeah, that him or her or them or they or whatever you are. It can be a company. It can be one person. I like what these people are talking about. You think about that. Look at your favorite YouTube channels, your favorite podcasts, the companies that you spend money with, where you buy your food from, where you buy your clothes from, your favorite, anything that you are continually giving your attention to or your money to. It's usually because you have some type of connection, or at least you feel like there's a connection between what they're about and what you're about. And that's why you keep dealing with them. That's why you listen to them. Your favorite shows that you watch is because they're saying something that you're interested in. You're like, yeah, I'm on the same page with what this person is saying. And the people who you disagree with, you don't give them attention and you don't give them money. Or you might give them attention just to hate watch them, but you probably don't spend a lot of money with them because you don't agree with what they stand for. But the people who agree with you, or the people with whom you agree, you give them your attention, you give them your money. Now, what you need to do is flip that equation around and ask yourself, what are you about? What do you stand for? So that your audience can find you and they can say, okay, well, I'm going to give my money to this person. I'm going to deal with them, that being you, because what they're putting out there and what they're sharing, I agree with that. I'm on that. Now, in order for you to do this, you got to get off the fence. Now, this is the challenge. For you to do this, you got to get off the fence. Now, you can't be straight down the middle on every single subject and think that you're going to get an audience of people who are strong, who have strong affinity for you. I'm not saying you can't do business, period. But if you want to have a strong audience of people who are like, you want to have diehard fans, at some point you got to get off the fence on the subject and say, on this subject right here, I'm all the way over here. I'm not in the middle. I'm all the way over here. That's where I stand, and that's where I'm going to stand. You have to decide where you want to draw that line. You want to see some examples of people who did this. Again, look at politicians. You can't please everybody as a politician. You got to pick a side. Obama did it. Everybody did it. Obama did it. Clinton did it, even though she didn't win. Bernie Sanders does it. Donald Trump did it. Biden did it. You got to pick a side. And you got to go strong on that side, knowing that some people are going to be really, really angry at you. But at the same time, every person you make angry, you get two people who are really happy. So you just got to decide, make a calculated judgment. Where does it make sense for me to do this? And it's the same thing if you're going to be in the thought leadership space or pretty much any space, especially if you're a front facing person where people can see you and you're the person, like one person, then you got to decide where you stand and what you're going to be about. That makes you noteworthy. That allows people to remember you. It makes people connect with you. And when people connect with you on an emotional level, like a spiritual, emotional level, your stuff doesn't matter as much. As long as you maintain that connection, they'll stay with you. Even if they don't buy anything, they'll stay in your world. And when they're ready to buy something, they'll buy it from you because they want to support and they want to align themselves with someone who thinks the same way that they think. So all of these things, this is part of the strategic way that you can do this. And then you create a system for you to do it over and over and over and over and over again. And if you're going to be in the thought leadership space, you just got to come up with new angles and new ideas and new things to share. So look at stuff that you see me post on YouTube, on my podcast, on the reels that I do on Instagram. When I do the whiteboard videos, I'm giving you different perspectives from my philosophy, from my framework and what it's about. And that's the people who resonate with that. They're like, damn, like this guy, he knows his stuff. I like what he's talking about. I'm going to go deeper into this guy's world. I'm going to follow him and understand something, folks. Somebody might follow you for a year and a half before they buy anything. Somebody might follow you all year and not buy anything. And then they buy something when they're ready to do something. But you got to stay active and you got to stay out there. Hector, what's going on? Good afternoon to you. So you got to stay out there. You got to stay active and you got to keep putting your message out there, whatever it is, even when nothing's happening, even when you're not getting any activity. Because I hear this often from people. They're like, well, I put not a bunch, but I put some posts up and it wasn't really getting any activity. Or I put some videos on YouTube. They didn't get any views. I posted on Instagram. I didn't get any likes. I posted on TikTok and nobody was seeing my stuff. You got to stay consistent. You just got to be consistent with your thing because a few things happen when you do that. Number one, eventually people start to see that you're serious about what you're talking about and they'll start taking you more serious because they see that you're serious. Number two, you get better at delivering your message the more that you do it. So if you're posting on some social platform and you're not getting any engagement, look at it as practice. Just imagine that as practice. Nobody's watching you, then you're just practicing. But you need the practice so you can get good. So when you do have people watching you, you're actually ready for it. You're ready for that attention and you're ready to deliver when you got the opportunity to show yourself to a bunch of people. So you don't want to be garbage when a bunch of people start watching you. Be garbage when nobody's watching you so that when you do get attention, you're ready to deal with it. And third thing is you'll get better at just figuring out what your message is. The more stuff you put out, the better you get clear on, all right, here's my message, here's my approach, here's my angle, or here's how I want to go at that situation. But you got to figure out what your angle is and what your style is going to be. I tried a lot of different things when it comes to publishing online before I found like the things that work for me. So when you see me on standing in front of that whiteboard and doing my videos and I'm giving you the points, I figured that out by publishing more and more content. Let me figure out what can I do, what works for me. And different people do different things. Some people do dances and some people, they're like, you see them on the TikToks and the Instagram and they're like changing clothes and they jump up in the air and then they in a different set of clothes. And I ain't doing all that shit. That doesn't work for me. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. That's just not me. My style is I'm going to give you got a pause connection. I'm gonna give you the points. Boom, boom, boom. I'm explaining to you why this works, why this makes sense. I do that on basically every platform. I just adjust it to the platform. But that's what works for me. The whole point is, everybody, you got to figure out what works for you and what can you do consistently so that your audience comes to know what they're going to get from you. So people come into my world, they say, Jerry, I like your style, I like what you do. I like how you have you had the points and you break it down, you explain these points and you go like that. That's my audience. You got to figure out what works for your audience and what resonates with people, and understand something can resonate. Multiple things can resonate with the same person. So I could like 10 different people for 10 different reasons. So I'm not limited to just liking one person. Same thing with you. So again, you don't have to fit what anybody else is doing. You got to figure out what you're doing and what makes sense for you. It should come naturally to you. It should become easier and easier for you to do it. And it has to be something that you can do all the time, or that you want to do all the time. Let's put it that way. Not that you can do, that you want to do all the time. So some people want to do a dance every day to some different song and they put that up on TikTok and they get a bunch of views and that works for them. All right. That ain't what I'm doing. And this, what I do is what works for me. So I wouldn't do their thing. They wouldn't do my thing. So you got to know your thing. And when you find that, it should feel natural when your audience is seeing it. And that's when you start to draw your audience. When your stuff feels natural to you, it feels natural to the people who are watching it. And they're like, all right, I mess with that guy, that girl, whatever. And they come into your world. All right, everybody got all that? So let me recap these 3 points. Pride, knowledge, and consistency is the key. Yeah, it's true. So anybody got a question, put it in the comment section right now. I'm going to go over these 3 points, recap the 3 points real quick, and I'm going to take questions. So how to get and stay known is the topic. Number 1, you must have a system for outreach. You have to have a system for continually getting in front of your desired audience. A system for doing this, meaning a way that you're doing it over and over again. There are a couple different ways you can market yourself. You need to have systematic approaches to doing all of them. I'm going to tell you what they are in 1 second. Number 2, you are in the marketing business. Okay, I don't care what you sell. You're in the business of marketing the thing. That's how you do business, is by marketing and selling your thing. Think of a company like Apple. They have pretty much one product makes most of their money. So all they do is just figure out different ways to market it. I mean, it's not like they got whole departments. It's not like Apple has whole departments of people whose very job is just marketing. That's their whole job, just marketing. If you are by yourself, you don't have departments of people working for you, it's just you. You should spend most of your time marketing. You spend most of your time marketing and selling your thing, not trying to get better at the thing. Once you get to a certain level of competency at the thing, the key then is, are you able to sell it and are you able to market it? Conversely, look at a company like Nike. Nike has like 10,000 different products, whereas Apple has pretty much one product. Apple got pretty much 4 core products. They got the phone, the computer, the tablet. I forgot about the tablet. Basically, they got 3 products. Everything else, everything else, just accessories. AirPods, they don't make that much money off the AirPods or any other thing they have. It's pretty much 3 things: the computer, laptop, desktop, the phone, which is most of the money, and the tablet. That's it. Whereas Nike, again, they got 10,000 products. But both companies have a marketing department whose only job is figuring out more ways to sell our stuff. That's it. If you only have one job in your business, if you're by yourself right now, you're a solopreneur, you need to focus on marketing. How do I sell my stuff? There are 3 ways to market. Advertise, you spend money for attention. Collaboration, you work with other people who already have attention, and content. You create your own material and create attention from scratch. You need to be doing all 3. You should be doing a mix of all 3 of these on a consistent basis. And number 3, make yourself noteworthy. What are you saying, doing, or presenting, or representing that makes people say, damn, I resonate with that person's approach. I really like what this person is about. I like what this person is doing. This person is saying what I'm thinking. What are you doing that makes people say that about you? If you're not doing anything, then people are not going to go that deep into your world. You got to give them a reason to go deeper. And what are you offering or sharing that makes people say, hey, I'm aligned with what this person is about? If you read Phil Knight's book, it's called Shoe Dog. It's about the building of Nike. Phil Knight's the guy who started Nike. And one of the things that he talked about, because Nike started as a running company. I mean, they're still a running company. But he talked about how he saw this guy at a race. Phil Knight used to be a runner himself. And he saw this guy named Steve Prefontaine, who was a runner back in the 70s. He died in like his 20s in a car crash. But everybody went to go cheer for this guy in a race one day. And Prefontaine won the race. And Phil Knight was like, I want my company to make people feel how I felt that day watching this guy run the race. Because everybody was cheering for him to win the race, and he won. And the whole thing was Nike's ethos is built around, we want to build something around that championship athlete who goes and dominates, and everybody resonates with that energy, even if they're not a full-time athlete. And you look at the people that Nike works with, like Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Serena Williams. They find these championship athletes and they build their whole ethos around people wanting to feel like that. Right? Why do people buy Jordan sneakers? Can't even make a layup, right? Because they want to feel like Jordan, even though they ain't Jordan. Right? It's the same thing with LeBron, Serena, Tiger Woods. It's getting that energy, and that's what his company is about. You got to decide what you're going to be about, so that people can connect with that and they can come deeper in your world based on that energy. So, any questions? Put in the comment section right now. I'll take a question if there is one, and that'll be it. And today's Super Bowl is coming up in about 6 hours. My hometown, Philadelphia Eagles. I live in Miami, but I'm from Philadelphia. A lot of people don't know that, but Philadelphia Eagles will win the Super Bowl today. So Patrick Mahomes is about to take another L in the Super Bowl. They didn't take an L a couple years ago. They lost to Tom Brady and them. Yeah, he's about to take another L today. So the Eagles will win the Super Bowl tonight. Eagles over the Chiefs. I didn't bet on the game, but I will watch the game. All right, so that's where we at. Questions? Anybody got a question on anything that I said here? And by the way, if you are not getting my daily motivation text, you're not in my text community, text me at that number you see in the comment. It is 305-384-6894. I send that text out every morning to everyone in my text community. And the best place to work with me directly, if you want to work with me, this link is in my bio. It's called Work on Your Game University. That's where you get access to my coaching programs. I do have a coaching program. I do have courses. I got a bunch of courses about on systems, on mindset, on strategy. I'll break these down. We got about 37 courses inside of Work on Your Game University, on top of the fact that you can work directly with me. You work directly with me, and I can help you assess and diagnose where the issues are in your business. Let's break it down. We'll figure out what the issues are. We'll map out a plan, a strategy for how you're going to execute. We'll come up with a system so you can execute over and over and over again. And of course, the end game is we want to get results, because we're in a results-based business. So the one thing you disagree with, the Chiefs, well, we're going to find out. We got in 6 hours, we're going to know. So it won't even matter. In 6 hours, we will all be clear on who the Super Bowl champion is. The game ain't no ties in the Super Bowl, so somebody got to win. All right, so the Eagles will win, like I said. So, all right, any other questions or any questions? Nobody asked a question. Sweet Science Academy, appreciate you. Anybody got a question? I don't see any questions, so I guess I said everything perfectly today. I'll take that. All right, everybody. If you got a question, if something comes up that you did not think about, you could text me at my number, which is right there in the pinned comment. And the best place for you to go, whether you got a question or not, is go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Join the university. You can get in at the course level. You get access to all the courses and go at your own pace. You get lifetime access to everything. You can schedule a call to get on a call with me. We can talk about where you're at with your business, figure out what your biggest challenges are right now, map out a plan of action, and I'll tell you how it will work for you to work with me directly in my coaching program. In addition to you getting access to all the courses, that's all at workonyourgameuniversity.com. All right, so that's a real life education, not the garbage that they're teaching you on college campuses these days. All right, we're giving you a real life education at a fraction of the cost of what you got to pay to go to college. And there's no wokeness here. All right, it's all realness. Realness over wokeness. That's where I'm at. All right, so everybody got that? All right, Eagles win the Super Bowl today. That's it. Everybody have a great day. Appreciate your time and attention. Work on your game. We out of here.